This is severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. Coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Alpha Insurance agent Jamie Dukas, the venue at 5 Points Farms, and by Boondocks Barbecue and Creamery in Wedowee. Brought to you in part by the Randolph County Commission, Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. From the Alpha Weather Center, here's Dr. Don.
Good evening, East Alabama and West Georgia, as we approach 10:27 p.m. on your Saturday, December 9th, 2023. Live severe weather coverage for Alabama and Georgia. It is going to be a rainy night in Alabama and Georgia tonight. We have a line of very heavy thunderstorms stretching across north, central, and west Alabama. And this line of thunderstorms continue to march on off to the east. We have a new tornado watch that's been issued by the National Weather Service out of Norman, Oklahoma, which does cover portions of East Alabama. And we're going to show that to you. And I'll tell you which counties are covered with that tornado watch. Let me get that map up. Here we go. You'll see the watch box there on the screen. And in East Alabama, the watch does cover Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, and Coosa counties. In Central Alabama, it does cover Chilton and Autauga County. And then to the north, of course, it gets the greater Anniston area, and then on up into Cherokee, it gets the greater Gadsden area, and then in northwest Georgia, pretty much unchanged there. We have the Rome, Dalton, and Chattanooga areas also covered by this tornado watch. Now, seeing a tornado tonight is not going to be the main threat, and I don't really, especially in the new watch box area, I don't really anticipate any tornado warnings, though it's not a zero chance. And so that's why the National Weather Service decided to go ahead and issue an additional tornado watch, because the chance is not zero. But I got to tell you, it's very small. I just don't anticipate seeing any tornado warnings this evening. Now, what I think we will see are going to be periods of very heavy rainfall. We're talking most locations could pick up between 1 and 2 inches of rain before this thing is all said and done, because the line's not moving particularly fast, and we're having training over the same areas. So very heavy rainfall, very, very loud thunder, and strong lightning. So it's very loud out there tonight if you're in the areas where the storms are. And we certainly could see some gusty winds, especially under those areas of dark red, because that's where the heaviest rainfall is taking place. And when you have the atmosphere as saturated as it is in those areas where you see the red, there's very little space left. The water droplets are big. The entire column is saturated, so as that rain falls to the surface, it has to push the air out from under it. So we're getting a lot of reports of, tree limbs and trees down in some of these areas. So it's going to be very windy, and it's going to be very heavy rainfall once this line makes it into East Alabama. And then a small occasional spin-up tornado is possible along this line of thunderstorms. And that includes Roanoke. You're in East Alabama. That includes all of East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, you've got some smaller storm cells across East Alabama now. They're widely scattered, like popcorn storms. And we'll go in close on East Alabama in just a few moments so you can see what I'm talking about. But that's not where we anticipate the strongest weather. The strongest weather is going to be along this line of thunderstorms that's still situated north of Birmingham, really north of Tuscaloosa, north of Birmingham, all the way up to about Chattanooga. It's where that line of storms are situated at this moment. Now, before we go in and really start dissecting the radar, I want to show you a couple of things here. We have had some pretty significant damage up in Tennessee. Unfortunately, we're now getting reports of fatalities up in Clarksville, which is up there in northern Tennessee, right along the Kentucky state line, and also just north of Nashville. This is Nesbitt Lane, just north of Nashville, just west of Hendersonville, Tennessee. And you can kind of get an idea of the damage that they had up there. We were live and we were tracking that tornado for you about 4 hours ago. And we told you it was going to come right across the northern suburbs of Nashville, right there where I-65 and I-24 split. And that's just exactly what happened, and you can kind of get a sense of some of the damage that's taken place up there. One fatality has been confirmed there just west of Hendersonville and up into the Hendersonville area. There is damage there as well. I haven't seen any reports of damage in Nashville proper, but just north of Nashville and then on over toward Hendersonville, we have a good bit of damage there this evening, and then also again up there in Clarksville, Tennessee, damage there as well. So let me do a couple of things here. Let me grab my coffee cup and turn over to the teleprompter, and I'm going to take you on a tour of the radar, and we're going to kind of show you what is taking place out there this evening. Now, that main line probably won't make it into East Alabama for several more hours. It is 10:34 now. We're looking at well after midnight, probably closer to 3 a.m. before we get this thing into East Alabama and West Georgia. But you can see, let me zoom out even a little bit further so we can get a good perspective of what's taking place here. You can see that line of storms stretching from about Cleveland, Tennessee, all the way back down to just north of Hattiesburg. Now, understand we're looking at the Birmingham radar here. So there's some portions of this line of storms down south of Meridian that we're not really being able to see very well on this radar, but I'm drawing a line on the screen for you. That's where the main line of storms are located at this hour. Now, that line of storms, the individual storms are moving off to the northeast, while the line of storms is moving off to the east. So that's why under some of these storms up here north of Birmingham, we're getting what's called training, where we're having one storm right after another move over the same locations. And we'll see that as the entire line progresses off to the east. We'll see that kind of same thing take place over here in East Alabama as well. I do expect the storms to be weakening as they move into East Alabama. As we go down here to southwest Alabama and southeast Mississippi, where we still have some good instability down there in the more moist air down closer to the coast, we do have one tornado warning that's just popped up. We're going to go down there and take a look at this. And I'm also going to see if we can get over here on the, let's see if we can find the radar. What are we looking for here? We're trying to find, well, I don't see it. We'll get to that. We'll get back to that in just a few moments. But I want you to see this tornado warning that's just popped up here, just south of I-20. This is southwest of Meridian, Mississippi, or southeast of Jackson, due west of Quitman. This is over in Mississippi. This is now we have a second tornado warning box that's just popped as well. And let's see if we can get that. That's a tornado warning that's in effect until 11 p.m. So about another 24 minutes on that warning. And this is probably going to be a concern for southwest Alabama. Places like Thomasville, maybe it will stay a little bit north of Monroeville and Jackson, but Linden, even you folks over there in Selma, you need to be paying attention to what is taking place over in Mississippi as that tornado, that line of thunderstorms now only about 15 or 20 minutes away from the Alabama-Mississippi state line there south of Meridian, Mississippi. So we'll keep an eye on that as it works its way toward Alabama. Now, let's look at East Alabama and West Georgia. Now, there are showers and thunder showers taking place in East Alabama and West Georgia at this hour, but those storms are not severe. We did have one thunderstorm that came out of Alabama that went severe when it got moved into Georgia just north of Eufaula a couple of hours ago. But that is the only one of these storms that has gone severe. This stuff that's running way out ahead of the main line for the most part are small in nature, but they are producing very heavy rainfall and may be producing some hail as well. This storm that is north of Columbus, getting up into Harris County, is a pretty nasty looking storm, and I think there's very doubt that we probably do have some hail there just west and north of Pine Mountain, up there just to the southwest of Greenville in Georgia. Most likely we do have some hail taking place with this particular storm. Let's see if we can get this to come current. All right, we're going to have to, y'all bear with me here. I'm going to have to change a few things here on this computer so I can get this all to work properly. And this will take just a second to do this. All right, now, got to switch over. Now, here we go. All right, now we're going to bring it current. And now you'll see with that storm cell right there sitting just north of Pine Mountain and just southwest of Greenville, Georgia, that is producing some hail right there. The radar tells us there's a 60% chance that we've got severe hail at 1 inch or greater. So we do have some strong thunderstorms out there that may be producing hail ahead of the main line, but I think our best bet for having anything strong or severe is going to be back over in this stuff that's coming into the Birmingham area, back up toward Jasper and Fayette and down to just north and west of Tuscaloosa. Strong thunderstorm blowing up now just north of Birmingham, too. We go in a little bit closer, and you can see they're just north of Leeds up there around Argo and south of Springville. Very heavy rainfall there, and most likely some hail falling with this particular storm. And then north of Ashland up here around Cheaha Mountain back toward Talladega, that's just scattered light stuff for the most part. And then north of Lake Wedowee up in northwest Randolph County, we have some scattered showers underway there also. So backing back out, you can kind of get the overall picture of what's going on across Alabama and Georgia at this hour. Again, we have a new tornado watch that was issued about 15 or 20 minutes ago. That's going to be for the following counties in East Alabama. That would be for Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, down into Coosa, Chilton, and Autauga counties of central and east central Alabama, Randolph, Chambers, Tallapoosa, Elmore, and Lee. You are not covered under this tornado watch, nor any of our West Georgia counties are covered under this watch as well. If you're down there in extreme southeastern Troup County, you're really seeing a show off to your south and east. You're hearing a lot of thunder and lightning. Very heavy rainfall down there on I-185, and that's going to be from that storm that's just north of Hamilton moving up to the northeast. Very good look there at a hail core. that's going to be southwest of Greenville. So if you're up here in Greenville, Georgia, hang on because you've got a pretty good size thunderstorm coming in your direction out of the southwest, and it's most likely going to bring you some hail there in the Greenville area. So we'll zoom back out so you can see all of East Alabama and West Georgia. I do want to go back over here to this tornado, and I want to switch over to well, there we go. It was really strange. Our radar sites were not showing there for just a few moments, but there we go. It's going to take a minute for this to load. I wanted to take a look at this from the Jackson radar site and see if we can get a little better fix on, there we go. Wow. So there you go. That's a radar indicated tornado. And this warning expires at 11 p.m. So we got about another 15, 16, 17 minutes to go on this one. And this is going to be just north of Stonewall, Mississippi, or just south of Meridian, Mississippi. This possible tornado is going to be running parallel to I-20 just south of Meridian, moving off to the east. So Pennington, Alabama. Lisman, Alabama. See if we can pick up any other locations here. Butler, Highway 17 north of Butler and west of Pennington. Be sure you keep abreast of what's going on over in Mississippi, because if this storm were to hold together, then it's going to affect your particular area as it moves on off to the east. And we'll switch back to Birmingham. And by the way, that's the only tornado warning we have anywhere along this line at this hour. Now, Weather Service issuing a special weather statement for this storm now down in northern Harris and southeastern Troup County. Let me get the verbiage of this up there. It's a special weather statement in effect until 11 p.m. The storm is moving to the northeast at 44 miles per hour. It does have a maximum hail size of 1/4 inch, maximum winds of 40 miles per hour. It'll affect locations such as Greenville, Luthersville, Gay, Georgia, probably north of Pine Mountain would be an area that would be affected, Roosevelt State Park. And so this special weather statement is for Harris, Troup, and Meriwether counties. And again, is in effect until 11 p.m. Central or 11 or midnight Eastern. Is that correct? Yes. There you go. Now, let me zoom back out so you can see the entire area. And I'm going to go over here to the chat room and see if you guys have any questions. Lee County asking the question, when should they start watching? Well, again, most of this stuff that's running out ahead of this line of storms, not severe. Now, we do have a very strong storm over in southeastern Troup County, southwestern Meriwether, and northern Harris. So I guess it's conceivable that some of this stuff that's running way out ahead of the line could go strong to severe, and that's in your area now. But if we have severe weather, I would anticipate it being associated with this main line of storms, which is still basically back toward Birmingham, back down to Meridian, Mississippi. And so it'll take that line another 2.5 hours to make it into East Alabama. So we're what? If you're probably 2.5 hours from now, would be when our best opportunity for severe weather would open up. We certainly could see something before then, but I think our best opportunity would be in another couple of hours or so. We'll just call it maybe 1 a.m. And then it's going to last for a couple of 2 or 3 hours after it starts. So this is going to be a long duration event for us. Will, wow. Y'all, Will works in our 911 center. He is one of our awesome communication officers and communication training officer for White County, Georgia, E911. And Will is one of those who would wear shorts to Alaska. He loves to wear shorts. Well, we have a dress code. And I got soft right before Thanksgiving and allowed him to wear shorts Thanksgiving Day because he had to work Thanksgiving Day. So if you see him pop up in here from time to time asking about wearing shorts, that's what that's all about. Talladega. Yeah, Talladega, you're in East Alabama. So it's just like everybody else in East Alabama and West Georgia. A couple of hours from now, the main line will start to move in. You're going to have a lot of rain, a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, maybe gusty from time to time. And you are under that tornado watch that goes out. Let's see. Tornado watch goes until 2 a.m. So you are covered under that tornado watch, Talladega. Though I just don't anticipate much in the way of tornado activity up here. Now, South Alabama, Southwest Alabama may be a different story. We may have a few tornado warnings down here. You know, south of Demopolis, maybe even over toward Montgomery, it's conceivable. The chances are better down here than they are up in central Alabama or East Alabama or West Georgia. Thank you, Kathy. Well, Chance, I guess it would be good for practice, but there's absolutely nothing threatening East Alabama or West Georgia at the moment. Thanks, Madison. Well, Summer, you and Will would get along just fine. Mike, you got an opportunity for some strong weather. Now, I'm not telling y'all this is not going to be a red letter setup. We're not talking about widespread severe weather with tornadoes everywhere. I know everybody's hearing about the fatalities and the damage up in Tennessee, and here comes the same line that spawned all of that. But you got to understand, these storms are coming through East Alabama and West Georgia, coming through Alabama and Georgia as a whole during the overnight hours when it's cooler. I mean, up here in North Georgia, we're in the mid-50s. And a lot of you across East Alabama and West Georgia are in the upper 50s to low 60s at this hour. And it's just really hard to get sustained severe weather going without any surface-based instability. And you're not going to have any of that with temperatures in the mid to upper 50s to low 60s. Now, sometimes the wind profiles in the upper levels of the atmosphere can overcome that. And we do have a strong veering wind out of the southwest. So that's why some of these storms could be strong to marginally severe over the next several hours, but this is not going to be a major severe weather outbreak. So I want to make sure everybody understands that. Bowden, George in the house. Hey, Judy. Cragford, Alabama. Hey, Sherry. Good to see you. Thank you, Brandon. Appreciate you watching. Good evening, Heather. How's everything in Cragford, Alabama? Thanks for that Northeast Georgia update, Will. Thank you, Mike. Hey, Taylor. Yeah, well, I wouldn't want Josh to be shivering with fear during the nighttime hours. Cassidy, person with weather anxiety here. Hey, don't have weather anxiety. I mean, and I get that a lot. And I know a lot of people do suffer from that. But here's the deal, folks. Weather was happening back in the day when the light switch was turned on. And weather's going to be happening when the light switch is turned off. It's just part of the way the world works. And, you're doing what a lot of people who get injured in severe weather do not do. You're doing what you should be doing by simply watching what we're providing to you because you are informed. You know what the situation is. You know what's out there. You know what's coming. That is 90% of surviving severe weather. And being safe during severe weather is being prepared and being weather aware and understanding where the weather is, understanding, where it's moving and what type of weather we're talking about. So you're doing that, Cassidy. So you're doing all the right things, and there's just, no real need to be anxious, especially about this particular setup. It's going to sound bad. There's going to be a lot of thunder, a lot of lightning, a lot of wind. But these storms, for the most part, are staying below severe limits in Alabama. They're not quite as strong as they were earlier this afternoon up in Tennessee when, unfortunately, we did have some fatalities up there and a lot of injuries, especially up just north of Nashville, back up toward Hendersonville, and then up in Clarksville, Tennessee, right along the Kentucky state line. Hey, Kay, good to see you back in here in the mountain community. It's been a minute since we've had a reason to do this. I have missed you guys. I think it was maybe back in October the last time we went live. It's been a while, which is good. We haven't had a whole lot of severe weather, and that's a good thing. Yeah, the further east you go, the less the chance of severe. In Henry County, over there around Atlanta, I mean, you're gonna have thunder and lightning. I mean, you got a storm coming up out of Meriwether County now that could give you a little rumble of thunder here in the next hour or so. But I don't anticipate a lot of severe weather for Henry County. Hey, Randy. Yeah, it may be quiet in Troup County right now, but boy, if you look off down to your southeast, you're probably seeing a pretty good lightning show back down there. Got a pretty good storm over in Meriwether County. Good evening, Gary and Saskatchewan. Very little snow yet. But I was listening to XM this morning, and one of the ladies over on the 70s channel, that's where I stay most of the time, was in Alberta, and she was talking about they already have more snow on the ground up there this year than they had, I think she said, the last 2 years combined. So maybe that's a sign that we'll have some snow this year. Of course, the more snow pack you guys have up there, it increases our chances of seeing a little white stuff down here in the southern part of the United States as well. Roanoke is fine. Well, Alyssa, our main goal is to keep you guys informed here on Dr. Don's weather. We were on the air covering the night that tornado hit Troup County. We were here the night Wadley got hit. We were here the night Coweta County got hit. And our intentions are to be here to give you coverage. So when we have this type weather set up, maybe not so much tonight because, again, we're not looking at a major tornado threat this evening. But when we do have those major tornado threats, so you can count on us being here for you. Josh and his bubble baths. Thanks, Johnny. Happy holidays to you as well. Yeah, Heather, it's a mess up there. I've got, if you've just joined us, a couple of photographs. This is just north of Nashville. I believe this is going to be up there in that area where 65 and 24, I-65 and I-24 split, just north of downtown Nashville, so you can kind of get a general idea of the type of damage we're looking at up there. Unfortunately, there's one reported fatality in that area, and then several fatalities up in Clarksville from a tornado that struck maybe an hour or so before this one hit just north of downtown Nashville. That's correct, Will. No, I don't think Roanoke will stay out of the storms, but I don't look for tornadic activity in Roanoke. And I can't tell you 100% certain that it won't happen, but the odds of it happening in Roanoke are slim. We got a new severe thunderstorm warning that's just been issued for Meriwether County. Let's go down here and take a look at this. All right, this is going to be just north of Gay, Georgia, crossing over. This would be State Route 85, just north of Gay, and I'm pretty sure they're issuing this warning because of that hail core right there. This is a severe thunderstorm warning that expires at 11:30 for a storm just north of Gay, Georgia, moving northeast at 53 miles per hour. The maximum hail size in this storm is 1 inch and a wind gust of 60 miles per hour. Now, this will affect Sonoya. Harrelson. As this storm moves off to the northeast, I think it stays, the bulk of it, the hail core part of it, stays north of Gay. And I believe it's probably going to stay a little bit south of Sonoya, but it's going to be close. Over here at Brooks, Georgia, heads up. Williamson, Georgia, heads up. I think Peachtree City's okay with this one. But there you go. That's a pretty large hail core. Let's run over here to the reflectivity and take a look at the base velocity on it and see if there's anything going on in there. And I don't see anything of any great interest. No. So we'll go back to the reflectivity. Still raining real heavily down here in Greenville. About to start raining real heavily over in Woodbury, but the severe part of this storm is crossing over State Route 85, just north of Gay. 362, where 362 intersects with State Route 85, and where, you'll see it intersects there, then it goes north and then cuts off to the east. Right in that area where 362 intersects with State Route 85 is the area where this hail core is located. So if you're in that area, take note. All these people I work with are harassing me tonight. Now the office captain's telling me I'm too old to be up this late. She's going to work directly for me one day, and I have a memory like an elephant when it comes to stuff like that. All right, so we'll zoom back out. We have a special weather statement now that's also been issued for Metro Atlanta. This is going to be just northeast of Whitesburg, north of Palmetto. And this is a strong thunderstorm. Will impact portions of east central Carroll, southwestern Cobb, central Douglas, north central Coweta, and southwestern Fulton counties through 12:30 this morning. At 12:02 a.m. Eastern, a strong thunderstorm was over Chattahoochee Hills, or 11 miles southwest of the city of South Fulton, moving to the northeast at 50 miles per hour. The hazard with this storm is 40 to 50 mile per hour wind gust, up to penny-sized hail and frequent cloud-to-ground lightning. So again, that wouldn't surprise me if they take this one up to severe thunderstorm warning too, because that's a pretty significant-looking hail core on this storm. So we're beginning to see some storms get pretty strong over here in Georgia, and these are storms that have absolutely nothing to do with that main line of thunderstorms back over in West Alabama. So this is a trend that is developing and has just started developing in the last 20 minutes or so. So we will start to pay attention to any of these storms in East Alabama and West Georgia for the possibility of strong thunderstorms. Here's another one just south of Tuskegee, Alabama. That'll be down there south of I-85. That's showing signs of getting pretty strong down there too. That's north of Union Springs or northwest of Hurtsboro. But as you can see, across most of East Alabama and West Georgia, we're okay right now. And I still think the greatest danger of severe weather will come in this line of thunderstorms. And that's going to be well after midnight, probably more toward 1, 2, 3 a.m. before it starts to move into the area. And it may hang around for a while. I mean, it may be approaching daybreak before we get this stuff out of here. So this is going to be a long-duration event. We'll go in here and take a look at what's happening in Randolph County. We've got some heavy rain. That's about it. And that stretches from R.L. Harris Dam back up across Lake Wedowee, across Highway 48, and just west of Wedowee, and then back up toward the Ava community, and then back up towards Swag. Some light rain, moderate rain showers just north of Napoleon back into the Woodland area, but nothing severe. Heavy rain up there at Graham as well. And then we look up here along the I-20 corridor. We do have a special weather statement. This is a special weather statement issued at 10:40, and it expires in 2 or 3 minutes. We'll see if they're going to continue this. This is going to be for that cluster of thunderstorms north and east of downtown Leeds, or north of Center Point, up there in the vicinity of Asheville, Alabama. Let's go back down. The tornado warning that we had on this storm cell coming out of Mississippi has been replaced with a severe thunderstorm warning, so that's good. Even though we're still showing a mesoscale as it's crossing into Alabama, we'll keep an eye on that. That could go back tornadic at pretty much any moment. A very heavy thunderstorm moving into the York area right along the Alabama-Mississippi state line. Then heavy storms up around Utah, Tuscaloosa, Moundville. Probably have some pretty good small hail there from about Tuscaloosa all the way up to Northport. But nothing severe at the moment. I'll put this back in motion so you can kind of get a general idea of the direction these storms are moving. The individual storms are moving to the northeast, while the line itself is pushing off to the east. Well, Candace, you're going to have some rumbles of thunder. If you think, it depends on your level of comfort. Well, this is one of those situations where we're not looking for widespread severe weather, but there could be some severe weather. No question about that. And you're definitely going to have showers and thunderstorms down there in the Opelika area. You got them down there right now. And so if you're going to go to bed in East Alabama and West Georgia and try to get some sleep, at least make sure you have a good weather notification app on your phone that's going to wake you up. Make sure you got that ringer turned up. Your notifications, make sure your audible notifications are turned on, and make sure your volume is up loud. Of course, now, see, y'all, you're going to go get me on my soapbox. You got to have a NOAA weather radio. You got to have one. You got to go to your local department store and you got to buy a NOAA weather radio so that in situations like this, you're relatively safe to go to bed. Because I promise you, when that thing goes off at 1 a.m., it will rock you out of the bed. But at least have a good app on your phone that will alert you when a tornado warning or severe thunderstorm warning is issued for your area. And that's the danger of these storms that come through in the overnight hours. A lot of people go to bed. They don't have a way to be notified when severe warnings are issued, and then you have severe weather. That's how people get injured, and that's how people lose their life. If you know what's going on, you stay in a safe place, you're increasing your odds tremendously of surviving a severe weather situation. So, folks, make sure you get a NOAA weather radio. It's about $30, and it's very easy to program. You owe it to yourself and your family to go get you one. Altoona, yeah, you're going to have some storms a little later. Absolutely, Paula. Preach it. Corinth, Alabama. Yeah. It's going to be the same for everybody. A lot of folks love to ask about specific locations when we have a setup like this. It's no different from one location to the next. I mean, it's not like we can tell you, yeah, there's going to be a tornado here, but there's not going to be a tornado here. Now, I mean, we can't do that, folks. I mean, it's just not possible. All of East Alabama, all of West Georgia stands a risk of strong to marginally severe thunderstorms with a very slight possibility of a tornado pretty much any time between now and until that main line of storms back in West Alabama exits Alabama and Georgia. And I don't think that happens until sometime around sunup. Yeah, we've got some wind over there on the west side of Alabama, and near Tuscaloosa, the line is beginning to bow a little bit. And we have a special weather statement for the Tuscaloosa area as well. Going to let it come current. We'll stop it right there. We just got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning because of that bowing line of thunderstorms. Good catch there, John. Let me give you the severe thunderstorm warning just issued. National Weather Service of Birmingham has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Walker County, Tuscaloosa County, and southwestern Jefferson County in central Alabama. Until midnight Central Time at 11:11 p.m., severe thunderstorms are located along a line extending from near Boley Springs to 6 miles northwest of Deer Lick Creek campgrounds to near Shelton State Community College, moving to the northeast at around 50 miles per hour. The hazard with this storm is 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-sized hail. Again, that is a severe thunderstorm warning for southeastern Walker, Tuscaloosa, and southwestern Jefferson counties of central Alabama. And you can see it right there. I am going to... see here. I'm going to take some of these boxes off here because the radar is getting a little bit. Now, that'll make it a little easier to see. And take the sails off. There we go. Now, you can see that a whole lot better. You see how the line is bowing right there. Okay. I'll just draw this for you. You can see how that line is bowing out a little bit right there as it moves on off to the east. And that is an indication that we've got a good bit of wind involved in this line of thunderstorms. So places, it's right on top of Tuscaloosa now, but over here toward West Birmingham, Montevallo, Alabaster, up toward Birmingham, West Birmingham, Gardendale. Be prepared for some pretty strong winds as this line of thunderstorms approach your area from the west. I'm going to switch over to the base velocity, and you can see right there, you can see those bright greens. That's an indication of some pretty strong wind. We're talking about 40-mile-per-hour winds. There's a 54, 57-mile-per-hour wind right there. Now, this is 5 degrees up in the atmosphere, so this may not be It may not be quite that strong right at the ground, but as strong as the rain is right there, I'd be almost willing to bet you it is. Then as you come on down to the south, it drops off. But this area right in just north of Tuscaloosa, Northport, you got some really heavy wind. Again, I'm going to draw you right there. That's where the strongest wind is showing up on radar, just north of Tuscaloosa. Again, I'm going to keep the tornado watch box turned off. I'll turn it on for just a moment to remind you that we do have a few counties in East Alabama under a tornado watch. That includes Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Clay, Coosa, and in Central Alabama, we have St. Clair, Shelby, Chilton, and Autauga, as well as Dallas. Randolph, Chambers, Tallapoosa, Elmore, Lee, and all of our West Georgia counties not included in this tornado watch at this time. It remains to be seen if they extend it further to the east. Probably will know that in the next hour or so. But I'm going to turn those watches back off, and so that we can kind of watch what's going on here. And I'm going to put the radar back in motion. Pick out where you are. You can see what's downstream and what's headed your way. Savannah, that's the forecast, that the line will weaken as it moves east, and it has already weakened. I mean, this line of storms back in West Alabama, nowhere near as strong as what we saw earlier this afternoon, because at one point we had multiple counties under tornado warnings back over in Mississippi and Tennessee, even had a couple of tornado warnings in extreme northwest Alabama. So from a tornado perspective, this line of thunderstorms has already weakened. Now, we are beginning to see the line bow back out right there around Tuscaloosa. We had a strong push there just south of Gadsden. That line looks particularly strong down in southwest Alabama. So we will have, I think, and I think we'll continue to have occasional severe thunderstorm warnings, but it's not the entire line. And it was earlier this afternoon. At one point, every county in Mississippi and in Tennessee that was being affected by this line was under some type of warning, whether it was a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning. But that's not the case now. We have the majority of the storms that are warned for now are special weather statements. They're not even warnings. And so we will have occasional warnings. But overall, this line has already weakened from what it was this afternoon, and I think it will slowly continue to do that as it moves on off to the east. Hey, Cecilia, good to see you in here this evening. Down there at Newman Farms in Pennon, Alabama. James watching us from Talladega. Walnut Grove. Hey, Bruce. Well, Savannah, that's always not, and I'm not, look, you know what I'm fixing to say, and I try to be very delicate with this. And let me preface what I'm about to say with saying this. I've lived in mobile homes multiple times in my life and have zero issues with mobile homes. I would live in another one tomorrow, if the situation presented itself. So the mobile homes are beautiful. I mean, they really are. They're nice. I have no problems with it whatsoever, except for the fact that they are no match to severe weather. And it's not just high winds and tornadoes that cause problems with mobile homes. It's trees. It is, especially in the South, with the softwood southern pines, zero match to a pine tree. It will split a mobile home in two. So you always need to have a plan to have a safe place to hunker down during severe weather if you live in a mobile home. A lot of folks wait till the last minute and then they try to figure out what to do. And I get comments all the time, well, I don't have anywhere to go. Yes, you do. If I told you right now that in 15 minutes you were going to die, would you have somewhere else to go? Well, the answer to that is yes, you would. So you need to think about those things and prepare, have a plan in place so that when a severe weather setup starts to unfold, you don't have to think about it. You know where you're going to go. Is it across the street, your neighbor's house? Is it across town at a relative's house? If so, once you go under a watch, don't wait for a warning. Once you go under a watch, then that's when you evacuate your mobile home and go to your safe place. Have a plan. It's all part of being safe during severe weather. Savannah, radar is pretty easy to read, and I'll give you a 101 right quick. It's real easy. The red stuff is the heavy stuff. I mean, the red stuff is the bad stuff. That's where and not all red is bad. That's what it's telling you. The red is the heaviest rain, okay? That's really all a radar can do is show you where it's raining. Now, we can take data that we receive from the radar, and we can determine the direction of the wind. We can determine where we likely have a tornado. We can determine, because of the density of the raindrops, where we likely have hail. There's a lot of things we can tell about a storm, but what it's showing you is rain or liquid, I guess is a better way to put it. That's what it's showing you. And the density of that liquid will dictate the color. The more dense liquid is the darker colors. The lighter liquid is the lighter colors. Green is just light rain, maybe even mist. Sometimes green doesn't even make it to the ground. And then you get into the orange, that's moderate. Red is heavy. And then when you start seeing these flashing blues, and a while ago we had some white. Let me see if I can find some for you. This storm just outside of Atlanta's got some big hail in it. You see the pink, the blues, and then that white right there over Mableton. That's telling you that the water droplets in that storm are frozen, because it's the return back to the radar site is off the chart here. You see the chart? 65 dBZs is where we're at. It only goes to 75. So this is telling us we most likely have got very large hail in this storm that's leaving Mableton headed up here towards Smyrna. That's how you read a radar. You pick out where you are on the map, and then you look at the direction this stuff is moving, and that'll kind of tell you, hey, if I'm Up here in Dallas, Georgia, I got a big storm blowing up ahead of me, just north of me. I've got a smaller one moving off to the north, just north of me as well. So that's how you read a radar. It's really, I know it looks complicated, but it really isn't. It's pretty easy stuff. Paula, that's cool if you've got a storm shelter. That's good. I'm glad you guys have got one. You're welcome, Savannah. All right, folks, I got to replenish the coffee cup. Looks like we might be here a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to leave the feed up. We'll just leave it up for now. And I'm going to take a short break, and I'll be back in just a moment with live coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather. Once again, good evening, East Alabama, West Georgia, wherever you may be tuned in tonight across this world of ours. We are doing live severe weather coverage primarily for East Alabama and West Georgia, though if we get something significant anywhere along this line, we'll go take a look at it. So we invite you to let us know where you're watching from this evening. We're coming up on 11:36 p.m. Central Time on Saturday, December 9th, 2023. This is live severe weather coverage from Dr. Don's Weather. We thank all those folks you see scrolling on the screen for making all this possible here on Dr. Don's Weather. We are about to move into our 5th year of coverage with severe weather on social media across the area, and we appreciate all the fine folks that have kept us going. Our primary sponsors this evening, of course, Jamie Dukas with Alpha Insurance, Southern Union State Community College. They bring you this live weather radar that you see on the screen. And then our fine folks at Boondocks Barbecue and Creamery in Wedowee on beautiful Lake Wedowee, and 5 Points Farms down in 5 Points, Alabama for your venue needs. Be sure and check them out as well. We appreciate all the folks. We have a lot of people who support us and take care of us here at Dr. Don's Weather. If you own a business and would like to be a partner with us, all you have to do is send me a message on Messenger, and we can have you started pretty quick. It doesn't take but just an hour or so to get the artwork together, and we can have you going here on Dr. Don's Weather as well. Hey, Chris, up in Ranburne, Alabama, thank you for joining us. And Herbert Whitlow, good to see you, Mr. Herbert, watching us this evening as well. So we're watching this line of thunderstorms. We're watching thunderstorms that are developing out ahead of the main line. And, well, most of East Alabama and West Georgia is kind of sandwiched in between those two areas of activity. We have some strong thunderstorms just south of Atlanta coming up on Griffin, Georgia. We have some strong thunderstorms also in the Atlanta metro area. We have scattered small thunder showers across Randolph, moving up into Cleburne and Carroll County. Stronger thunderstorms up around Gadsden. And then we have that main line of storms back across West Alabama, stretching from Demopolis back up to West Birmingham and then over toward Gadsden. We have one severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect at the moment, and this is going to be in effect until midnight. So we have about another 22 minutes or so on this warning. And this warning is going to be in effect for primarily western Tuscaloosa County and western Jefferson County in central Alabama. And then again, we have that special weather statement that's just been issued up here for the Gadsden area as well. Strong thunderstorm will impact northern Calhoun, Etowah, and northeastern St. Clair County and Cherokee counties through midnight. At 11:14 p.m., Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm near Neely Henry Lake, or 7 miles southwest Rainbow City, moving to the northeast at around 55 miles per hour. That was about 15-20 minutes ago when that was issued. The core of that storm now is a little bit northeast of Gadsden. It's going to be near Center, Alabama. I know it's still raining in Gadsden, but the strongest part of the storm is near Center, Alabama, and I believe, let's see. No, that's okay. I'll see what that is. So there you go. And then also we have a special weather statement over in Georgia near Sandy Springs, and then we have one just south of Atlanta. This one is going to be just to the east of Peachtree City near Hampton. Strong thunderstorm cell sitting there, and then a strong thunderstorm up around Stockbridge and one near Union City, all south of Atlanta. So where these storms are taking place, it's very loud. The thunder is rolling out there tonight in these areas where you see the lightning strikes. In that frame you're looking at on the screen right now, we have 181 lightning strikes in the last 3 minutes or so. The majority of that's coming from the Gadsden storm, and then the Tuscaloosa, West Jefferson storm, and then down there around Demopolis, we have a lot of lightning taking place in that one as well. Candace says it's real loud down there in the Auburn Opelika area also. Let's run down there and take a look at that storm. This is not severe. We have no weather advisories on this particular storm. But you see what's happening. We have a heavy storm sitting over Opelika. The backside of it's clearing Auburn right now. And then really the heaviest part of this is sitting right on top of Opelika. And it stretches up to around Beans Mill, back down Highway 431 to around Smith Station. And then to the south, down there around Beauregard. And then on down 431 down to around Hurtsboro. We have some heavy rain taking place as well. And it stretches to the north, right up 85 to around Valley. So you folks in the Valley area, Lynette, West Point, you're probably going to have some heavy rain move through the next few minutes or so. But again, this particular storm in Lee County and extreme southeastern Chambers, not severe. No advisories from the National Weather Service on this storm at this time. The only warning we have, and I'm going to zoom all the way out, you can't even see off the Birmingham radar, but zooming all the way out, we only have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, no tornado warnings. We do have a handful of special weather statements along this line. So overall, that's telling us that this line not as strong as it was at one time. Zoom back in on this storm coming out of Tuscaloosa. We have a mesoscale showing, so that's telling us that we have some rotation in the upper levels of the atmosphere on this storm. But this is certainly, without question, the strongest storm in the state of Alabama at this hour. And it's just north of Vance out there on Highway 20, I-20, I-59. And it stretches to the north, just west of North Johns, and continues on up to the north. It has now cleared Tuscaloosa. You still got rain in Tuscaloosa, but the part of the storm that's being warned for is about to move completely out of Tuscaloosa County on into Jefferson County. So heads up places like Bessemer, Pleasant Grove, Adamsville, Tarrant City, Birmingham proper, Hoover, Helena, maybe Alabaster. Heads up on this storm. It's moving in your general direction. Now, I'll tell you the Boeing, if there's any wind, let's just see what the wind product looks like on this while we're here. The wind on this is going to be in this area right here. So Alabaster up to probably Pelham, maybe Hoover. Heads up, you got some wind off to your west that's going to be rolling through in the next 30 minutes. And the Weather Service probably... Weather Service probably looking at this right here. It's pretty broad, but we may have an inflow notch trying to get going right there close to North Johns. We do have a severe thunderstorm warning. We'll see if they do anything else with that. Let's go back over to... activity, zoom out, and let me do a little housekeeping on my end. I've got something here I want to look at. All right, let's see if we can do it this way. Okay, it's not cooperating either. All right, so we'll go back to there. All right, for those of you that are just joining us, we're doing live coverage for you this evening as we have strong storms moving across the state of Alabama. Nothing severe at the moment in East Alabama, though we're watching some pretty strong thunderstorms down in the Auburn-Opelika area, stretching down to around Columbus. Then just south of Atlanta and just north of Atlanta, we have a couple of strong cells there that have prompted special weather statements. And then up in the Gadsden area over into Cherokee County, we have a special weather statement. Only one severe thunderstorm warning at this hour. That's going to be for the extreme western side of Jefferson County, so West Birmingham, stretching from the Vance area down there on I-20 all the way up to just south of Cordova. And we're watching a pretty good bow right there, so we're likely looking at strong winds around 60 miles per hour, encroaching on Bessemer, just to the west of Bessemer. So if you know anybody that lives in the Bessemer area, call them and make sure they know what's going on, as we've got a very strong thunderstorm moving into the area there. And we are showing some rotation in this storm. But at the moment, it's pretty broad. You'll see that rotation right there, just north of North Johns. You'd want to see that a little tighter for the Weather Service to go with anything from a tornado warning standpoint. Right now, nothing from the Weather Service on that possibility, but I know they've got to be watching that pretty close right there. And again, folks, I know it sounds pretty bad down there in the Auburn-Opelika area, even up into southern Chambers County. But again, these storms are not severe. You may have some gusty winds, 20, 25 miles per hour. Even a 30-mile-per-hour wind gust is not completely out of the question down here. And I'll just show you. We'll go back over to the base velocity, and I'll show you. That's for not even a good look. Let me see if we can switch to Montgomery and get a better look on that storm. Yeah, that's a little better. And you'll notice that there's zero rotation in this storm. All the wind is all going in the same direction. And look at there. You're looking at 21 miles per hour up here around Beans Mill, maybe a 25 mile per hour wind. 26, I think, is the highest I've seen right there. Maybe there was a 27. Yeah, there's a 27 right there. So less than 30 mile per hour, maybe, well, I just saw a 34 just north of Beans Mill. So, odds are it's not 34 on the ground. This is up in the upper levels of the atmosphere. So you're probably in the 20 to 30 mile per hour wind range up here around Beans Mill. And that's well below severe limits. You got to have sustained winds of 58 miles per hour before a storm can be classified as severe as far as wind is concerned. And we just don't see it in this storm at all. So I know it sounds rough. You got a lot of lightning right there around Beans Mill, and you got the 20 to 30 mile per hour gusty winds, and it's raining like a big dog. So it's intimidating. But this storm is not severe by no means. And it stretches up into the Lynette area, Valley, back over towards Smith Station. Auburn, you're pretty much out of it now. You get over there back toward Opelika. The rain picks back up. But as you can see, Beulah, back over toward Lake Harding, Tillery Crossroads, Beans Mill. That's where the heaviest part of this storm is right now. But again, folks, that is way below severe limits. Now, I know if you're down there, you're probably going, now it's easy for you to say you're not here. But we can look into it, and I can tell you, the Weather Service is not even talking about this one. They're more concerned about this storm up here around Tuscaloosa because it is something to be concerned about. This stuff down here in Lee County, not so much. And Candace is telling us they've got power outages now in the Beans Mill area. And folks, understand all it takes is for one limb to hit a power line and you're going to lose power. So just because the power has gone out doesn't necessarily mean that there's anything of any great significance going on. I mean, we have trees fall up here on sunny days that takes out the power. Yeah, the lightning is hitting hard tonight, and it's very loud because of so much moisture in the atmosphere. The sound is traveling, and it's amplified because of all the moisture in the atmosphere. So, I mean, it does. I know it. It's really loud. It sounds bad. It looks bad. But I can tell you, from a meteorological standpoint, this is not a severe storm at this hour. And you're going to be just fine. And that'd be the same thing for Valley. You're on the extreme north end of the storm. And we'll take you in close on Valley, Alabama, right there. It really stretches up to about Shawmut and then back down 15, back toward Valley. And south of I-85, maybe back over toward Casita, and this is mostly very heavy rainfall with an occasional stroke of lightning. Don't even see any hail in this. There could be some small pockets of pea-sized hail, but overall, not a severe storm. So recapping what's going on, if you're just joining us, we are at 11:55 p.m. on your Saturday evening, December 9th, 2023. And we're watching for the possibility, I said the possibility of severe weather across East Alabama and West Georgia. So far, we've got a handful of strong thunderstorms, most of which are over toward the Atlanta metro area and up around Gadsden. And we have one severe thunderstorm warning that's in effect right now in the state of Alabama, and that is going to be for the Birmingham area, right there along the western side of Jefferson County, or I should say the western side of downtown Birmingham, where we have a Boeing line of thunderstorms that is encroaching on Birmingham. So we know for a fact we've got some strong wind taking place right there. But then as we zoom out, you can see that other than that severe thunderstorm warning, we have no warnings across the state of Alabama. And let me go back and check on, turn some of the products back on. We do have a tornado watch that goes out until 2 a.m., and this is going to be for Cleburne, Calhoun, Cherokee, Talladega, Clay, Coosa, Shelby, St. Clair, Chilton, Autauga, Dallas, and Bibb of East Alabama and Central Alabama. It does not include Carroll, Hurd, Troop, Harris. It does not include Lee, Tallapoosa, Chambers, or Randolph. And just looking at some of the latest information coming from the Storm Prediction Center, it doesn't look like they're considering extending this watch any further east. We'll see. But right now, I don't see anything that leads me to believe that they're even thinking about doing that. So as we approach midnight, we are going to step away for a few minutes, and I've got a couple of things I've got to do, and I have to do it offline. And then we'll come back and continue with coverage. I want to look at this storm down there around Valley one more time before we jump out of here. We do have some small hail that's popping up now. One very small hail core just south of Hughley, and then one just northeast of Valley, just on the other side of the Chattahoochee River, just south of Interstate 85. So we do have a couple of areas of small areas of potentially hail there around Valley and Hughley, just south of Lynette. But again, we have no watches, no warnings, no special weather statements. All of this is below severe limits. It seems like it's really bad. It seems like it should be severe. But by definition, this storm is below severe limits. You have to have wind, sustained wind of 58 miles per hour. You have to have hail size of 1 inch in diameter to qualify as a severe thunderstorm. And of course, you can have tornadic activity. We have none of that. As a matter of fact, that last volume scan, that hail core signature kind of went away as well. So at the moment, this storm is way below severe limits in Chambers County and down in Opelika as well. So we're going to step aside, and the main line of storms still back over central Alabama. We're talking about from Hattiesburg, Mississippi, up through Greensboro, Alabama, to a point near or just west of Birmingham, and then up to just northeast of Gadsden, just north of Rome, is where that line of storms located. And that's where our best window of opportunity will come from, for severe weather will come from. And we're still a couple, 2-3 hours away from that getting into East Alabama. Very slow-moving storm system. It's going to be an all-night event. So what we're going to do here is we are going to step aside. I'm going to take the feed down for a few minutes while I do a couple of things offline, and then we'll be back in about 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll continue with our coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather. So stay with us for live severe weather coverage on Dr. Don's Weather.
This has been severe weather coverage for East Alabama and West Georgia from Dr. Don's Weather. Coverage is powered by Southern Union State Community College, Boondocks Barbecue and Creamery in Wedowee, Alpha Insurance Agent Jamie Dukas, and The Venue at 5 Points Farms. Brought to you in part by the Randolph County Commission, Heron's Tree Service, Southern Auction Solutions, Roger Bell Auto Brokers, Genesis Weight Clinic in Roanoke, Jimmy Stevens Construction, Anchor Roofing, Auction 431 South, Town of Wadley, and Bama Diesel Repair. We will continue to monitor weather conditions and return with the latest information as conditions warrant. This is Dr. Don's Weather.